Peace fam, it's your girl ThePreshaCooka. I'm back with another video. So I wanted to get on here and give a quick review of my thoughts on TashaK's part 1 Gone Girl documentary, Surviving Jaguar Wright. It is part 1 in the trilogy, so I guess we got 2 more episodes coming. Guys, I just watched it and I just typed out my thoughts, so I'm just going to give it to you straight. So TashaK interviewed 2 people in this first part. She interviewed Jaguar's ex-husband, well, her first husband, and she also interviewed Jaguar's son with that ex-husband. Now, with the ex-husband, it was very interesting because they got together really young. But before her career really took off, it seems like that's when they got together. They got married, and his mom didn't approve of them getting married. She didn't come to the wedding, but his dad was there. And he said that things were really, really good, even though it moved fast. I think they only were dating for 3 months and they moved in together. And it was really interesting to hear him talk about places in Philly because I lived in Philly for a few years. So it was just kind of, for me, it was a little bit nostalgic because it's like, whoa, it's like you're saying these streets that I know. So, he was talking about their life in Philly and her going on the road. And he said that Jaguar cheated on him, like basically on her first tour or away show with the Roots. And she cheated on him with Talib Kweli. And it was very interesting because he tried to work it out and stay with her, even though it seemed like she had intentionally spilled this tea to hurt him. Very weird. There's a lot of manipulation. Prior to him getting married, he said that Jaguar had told him that she had some type of diagnosis. He says he doesn't remember what it is. I don't believe that. But, I can understand if he knew and, that didn't faze him. I am curious about what it is. I have some thoughts, but I'm curious about what it is. So anyway, he seemed like a really good man, but he put up with a lot of things and he went through a lot of emotional and physical abuse. She was very emotionally abusive to him based on his reports. There was also physical abuse, and he learned that Jaguar had grew up in an abusive household. I mean, at least with her dad, he was physically roughing her up and just treating her poorly. So his theory was that Jaguar was pushing him to limits to see, kind of like to reenact what she experienced at home with her dad. So I thought that was an interesting theory, but is very plausible. So anyway, in the chat, people were calling him a beta male and all this stuff. People range from saying, oh, he was fine, and, to him being a pushover. He's a very good looking man. But it did catch my eye that he seemed to be a very patient and compassionate person, right? And some people might label that as a beta male, but I think that he's a very compassionate person and he took his vows seriously. That being said, we know there's always 2 sides to every story. So, of course, he's telling his version, so it's going to be packaged and pretty in this way. But I do believe that he went through some hell being married to Jaguar. Now, I will say this. I do think that Jaguar did a lot of this stuff because she didn't deny cheating on him. She actually admitted it in a very disrespectful way. Like Tasha spliced in different clips of her talking, of Jaguar talking, and I thought it was funny the way Talib Kweli tried to be a victim in the whole thing. And it's like, dogs, you had sex with this woman willfully. You knew she was married, so y'all both wrong. Don't try to act like you're a victim. Talking about she was so aggressive with the way she pursued me. It would have been sexual harassment in 2020. I'm like, child, anyway. So, and I'm not making fun of sexual harassment. I'm just saying, I doubt that he was sexually harassed, okay? Anyway, so I think with the first interview, TashaK did a good job at humanizing him and kind of helping him to articulate and to make clear what he went through. So I will give her, an A for that. She did a good job with this first one, but then it took a nosedive, child. So let's get into the second interview of part 1. So prior to us meeting Jaguar's son, which really took me by surprise, her ex was talking about how Jaguar lied about a lot of things, and one of those lies included that her son had autism. Now, because I wasn't expecting to see her son on the screen, I was watching, within moments of him talking, I'm like, okay, yes, he's a handsome young man. Yes, he's brilliant, but there's definitely some quirkiness and social awkwardness there. And it could be autism. It could be some other things. There's some other I can't think of what category they fall under in the DSM, but he's definitely giving me like savanty, like possible autistic tease, right? And that's not a bad thing. That is not, I don't understand. Some people are in denial about their children and what could be going on. The young man is brilliant. I know a lot of brilliant people who are on the spectrum. Like, it's almost like people think that all people who have autism are low functioning. And so anyway, that's irritating. But yeah, he seems very brilliant, and I think he's in college, but sometimes the way he talks about things, so to me he goes on a range of either he is super duper smart, and then there's other things that he talked about in ways that were juvenile. It was very interesting, and I'm going to get into that. So very, very quirky. There were times that I was like, okay, this is so quirky, it's making me uncomfortable. And it wasn't because he was being who he is. It was pissing me off because this is one of the things I can't stand with TashaK, is TashaK tends to be exploitative in these damn interviews, and it really pisses me off. She doesn't consider people's privacy. She doesn't consider people's emotions. And she was asking this young man really intrusive questions, and it was just inappropriate. So, after she praised them and all this other stuff, she was asking him really blunt and inappropriate questions like, were you sexually assaulted by your peer? Because this was one of the things that Jaguar stated. And we saw Tasha splice in a video of Jaguar saying that her son, was sexually assaulted by a male peer in the 6th grade. And she was outlining very graphic details. And it did sound a bit over the top. However, when he explained it, some of it made sense. But then I was still thinking like, yeah, but you guys are trying to make it seem like this woman was a liar. Like, she's probably traumatized that her son was attacked in this way. So I don't know what I think about the story. What I do know is, Tasha, you need some sensitivity training, and you're not trauma informed. Once again, as I said in my very first video when I restarted this channel, just because you are a survivor of sexual abuse doesn't qualify you to know what people go through. And clearly you don't know, because I've seen you ask really nasty, inappropriate questions, and it irks my soul. So that was the first thing she asked. Then she asked, are you autistic? And the thing is that, TashaK, you don't, it's like, to me, the strategy that you use to ask some of these questions are tactless. Like, you need to learn how to get this information without being demeaning. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's just, I don't know. You guys watch it and let me know what you think. But like I said, some of his answers were childlike, but he was on a range of like genius to, some of his responses were childlike to me. That's what I thought. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Overall, I thought it was a decent interview. It just got a little cringy for me. And when she started interviewing the son, I don't know, it was just a little weird. I am looking forward to see what is going to happen in part 2. It seems like things are still going to be popping off. So yeah, what do you guys think? Did you watch the interview? If you didn't watch the interview, did this pique your interest to go watch it? Thank you so much for watching this video and listening. I'm a little bit behind on comments, but I will be getting back to them soon. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.